Another practice example for Too Tall Toby. This is dated March 1st, 24. This model is fairly simple for IronCAD just because of our positioning capabilities and some of our handle options. It basically consists of just a base piece here on the bottom, and then a vertical piece, and then an angle piece at 45. The tricky part on this one is really just to get this bottom point to be 114 from this location. So I'll show you how to do that in IronCAD, and let me move this over to the other side, and we'll go ahead and build this part. Most of these can all be done with standard shapes in IronCAD and also some of our sketch shapes. So I'll show you how this is done. We'll just start with a block. This is going to be our base that I mentioned there, which is currently 69 by 69 by 16 thickness. So just type in those values, hit enter to go through each one of those quickly. Next, we would have to draw this vertical piece, and this is best done with a sketch. And you can do this in multiple ways. What I'm going to do is actually rotate over here, and I actually have multiple ways to do this. We can start a sketch, place it, draw it, position it, or whatever. But we do have these in our catalogs as well, which I haven't shown in some of my other videos. But if you go to our shapes catalog and under additional shapes, down at the bottom, you'll see two sketch shapes that can be drag and dropped out here as well. One is based on the corner, one's based on the center. So if you want to drop on the midpoint or if you want to drop on the corner, you can do that. Again, this is following our drag and drop capability. So what direction you're going, that it may drop in a different orientation. But this one's fine. I can just either rotate it around using the tri-ball, or in our case, I can just pull this over. I want to snap there, grab this handle, and I'm going to snap there. So I realigned it to where I wanted it to be. And this, I'll hit the E key to edit the sketch. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and draw a couple of cylinders out here, and this is going to be in the center of our sketch. And we're going to place this up here, and I'm going to right click and give that a value of, I believe that is 13 for that radius there. And it also has a concentric one as well, and I'll just set that as a value of 5 for the radius inside there. And I'm going to set my constraints up, just FYI. Under constraints, I have some default settings here that it's using, so it's building my constraints as I do this. Next, we can just delete this line, and we can simply just drag these lines up here until we get to the tangent C on this guy. So we got a tangent C there, and we got a tangent C there, and we can just trim off this bottom piece. We could have also added some dimensions on here for constraints. So for example, if we wanted to actually have that constraint there, we can select those two lines and tell it to be tangent between those, or we can just use the tangent tool. Either way, I'm just box selecting those two, and it's making those tangent, and I'm going to go ahead and lock down this axis here to be this value to be 13 here. We do want that to be set, because I'm going to pull this down because we have to set a height from the bottom. So we can either try to do a dimension here. I'll just show you another way because I'm going to use it in two places. So I'm going to go ahead and hit finish here. And on our sketch handles, we actually have options here to say edit distance from point. And we can just select this bottom edge here, and that has a value of 69. So that will move it down to that value as well. So that's an easy way to do that for us. Next, we'll just go ahead and extrude this. So you can select on your curve, say create extrude. In this case, we're going to add to this existing geometry here. And that's our geometry we're going to add to. And you can see our direction by the arrow that is pointing, which is the wrong direction. So let's flip that over. And this has a thickness of 10. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And that will extrude that out for us to build that shape. So that's our starting shape on that particular one. And now I'm going to rotate a little bit down here, and I'm going to draw that same item out here again. We can drag and drop that out. And in this case, it depends on which orientation that you're at. Your viewing rotation on how it drops. So if I rotate this way, drop this direction, notice it'll drop in that plane. So you can change how these things drag and drop. So again, you can use the sketch shape up here to do this, or just drag and drop these out and use the tri-ball to move them around however you like. So I'm just going to drag this out, snap to this other side here. So I've got these both aligned. Again, I'll just edit this. In this case, I can just drag this out a little bit, get the S key, draw a cylinder here. That's going to be on the center of this edge here. You can snap to that edge and draw that, and you get the tangencies there, and just use the trim command. Again, you hit the S key and trim off all this extra geometry there. So that gives us our basis for our shape here. And then we'll go ahead and finish that. So what we want to do here, in this case, it needs to be rotated down 45 degrees. That's easy to do. We just lock the tri-ball on, do this negative 45 in that case. And there we got our angle that we need for this piece. In here, we'll go ahead and extrude this, or we can do the adjustment here either way. But if you want, let's just go ahead and extrude this. So we'll just go ahead and select our curve, right click, create, extrude, and this one is going to be, again, added to this part. And again, you want to look at that arrow on the origin here to show you which way it's going. In this case, I think I have it going the right direction right now. So we'll go ahead and set that value to 7 for that. We can flip this later if we need to. Go ahead, finish, and yeah, it went the down direction. I'm going to go up on that. So I just right click on that feature, flip the direction, and we've got that. And then we can just pull this handle in because it's just got to be mated in there because we don't really know what that distance is there. So we'll set that. And again, we can use the same handle option here. So this time, this is tricky. So we want to get this orientation to be parallel to this edge essentially. So how we do that is actually right click on these handles and you can change the orientation. In our case, we're going to be parallel to this edge. And now we have the orientation that we want. We can say edit a distance from point. We're going to pick that edge there. And we want to set that to 114. And that will move our curve to be 114 from that point. So that's simply how we can do that alignment there. Next, we can just add the rest of the geometry here. We have some cylinders to add. So we'll come back here. We can add our cut cylinder on our center point here, which has got a diameter of, let's see, 42 for that, and a depth of 4, I believe. Let me just double check. 3. 3 from the bottom, so we'll set that at 3. And then we have a through hole here that's got a diameter of 26 of that, so that's that end. And next and last, we have to do these here, which is a fillet on the ends. So we'll just select these two edge, right click, go to the blend, and that's got a value of 14 for the radius on those. So we'll set that to 14, hit enter, and then we can drag and drop either holes to make these counterbores, or it can actually go into our mechanical tools. We have a hole here we can drag and drop onto the center point. In this type, we're going to do a counterbore, and we have a through hole of 6, and the diameter is going to be 13, and the depth of 4 for that counterbore. We can go ahead and hit OK to apply that. And then we can just use the tri-ball to lock an axis and make a link all over to the other side here. And we can turn off the tri-ball after that. So that's basically the majority of the shape here. The last thing we need to do is add this blend here. In this case, we want to blend that, and it's going to have a value of 26 on the radius. And we get OK. And there we have it. That is our shape that we need to be built here. And just to make sure, you can go to your properties. It has a 7,800 mass density for this setup. So the grams mass is 922 for this model. So fairly simple to do in IronCAD. Just kind of some unique things there on how we do some of this positioning. So you don't have to use any datum planes, to create this. And then a sketch off of that, and I'm not even real sure how you get that dimension in there. Maybe some sort of penetration point of some sort, creating a line offset or a data plane offset and a penetration point, I guess, is how you would do that in the other systems, but we don't necessarily need to do that at all with any data planes in here using our handles. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one.